Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wisdom and Wellness with Wit. Today's episode is extra special because I get to chat with my mama, Kathy Wood. And, it's Mother's Day weekend, and I know that brings up a lot of emotions for many different people. For some, it's celebratory and fun. For others, it can be a time that just brings up a lot of tough emotions. So it's an opportunity for me to get to just ask my mom lots of questions just about her journey in motherhood. She has been a pastor for over 30 years, a amazing musician, and a mentor for many women. So I hope that this conversation really blesses you and you enjoy it. Welcome to another episode of Wisdom and Wellness with Wit. And I'm excited because this episode I get to chat with my mama, Kathy Wood. Hi, Mom.
Hello, Wit.
Thanks for doing this. I know you really don't want to. I appreciate it. It'd be cool with Mother's Day coming up / anytime anybody were to listen to this, to just get to ask you about motherhood and your thoughts on it, because you have been a mom for 38 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
Easy to think about. And I just think that just your own story of being a mom is helpful for those who are listening, maybe to feel like they're not doing the best, or they don't know what they're doing, or just the world of parenthood can be exhausting and crazy and make moms feel insecure about how they're doing it. So I appreciate you, even though I know stuff like this. So I wanted to know, when you had my older brother, did you feel like you were ready to have kids? And is that something that you had grown up desiring to be a mom?
Well, in thinking about this question, I was thinking I can't really answer that without saying a little bit about my mom, because she was 18 when she got pregnant with me.
Wow.
And had me when she was 19. And then I don't even know, 2-3 years later, she and my dad divorced. They were just too young.
Right.
And I would say that was such a factor, but she just really did not have a capacity for a child.
Yeah.
So I always felt like I just didn't matter. And I think it was just, there were so many things, but she was too young, and she was about her. She wasn't about me. And so as I was growing up, did I always want to be a mom? I just always knew I would be a mom. I didn't think about that. Did I not want to?
Yeah.
But what I just did not want to be selfish. That was my thing. And I don't, judge her, and any of that. I did not want to have kids if I couldn't be about them. So, so we were married 8 years before we even started thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I kid you not, I woke up one day, I said, I am ready. There's something, I'm ready. Yeah. I've been about me, and I now I'm ready. I want to do that thing where you just, you give your life to your kids. I was ready for it.
Yeah.
And we did immediately. we got pregnant like immediately, and I was so ready. And the thing that was super helpful was we were dorm parents at Life Bible College.
Right.
So we had all kinds of young people around us. And, they were in Bible college, so they were like growing and wanting to learn. And I was in music and, with the music students. So it really was a great environment. Like, not only did I have a lot to give Ben, he just had like all these people, young people. I taught music and I'd have to go to a class, and Dad was at Fuller at the time, so our schedules were real flexible, and there was just kind of always somebody to like take Ben. I had to go teach a class, or he would go like sit with the drummer while I had a rehearsal. And it was a good time. I was ready, and it was a good time to have a kid.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Because you had me around my age now. Was there?
Yeah.
Was there like pressure and fear to ever like get pregnant sooner because of, when people talk about age and all that kind of stuff, or you just knew like, no, like I want to be married and have this time, and then?
No, no, there was no pressure to do it sooner.
Yeah.
Although with you, the doctors said I was too old, so I had to have special tests, and
right.
And then, there was that whole thing that you are probable Down syndrome and all those issues. So no, there was no pressure, except that because of what I went through in pregnancy, I could not have another child after you.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. You had two pregnancies, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And then what I would say about you, as I thought about it all and just some of your struggles and all that you've gone through, I mean, you think about it, so we moved to Pomona, a place I hated. Like, I saw it and I went, oh no, I am not coming here. This is not what God has for me. Little did I know it was what God had for me. Right. I just thought he was like angry at me and making me and punishing me. And that's why I deserved to live in Pomona. And so just naturally, I was unhappy to be there. And then the church that we were pastoring, so that's why we went to Pomona. And the church that we were pastoring was there were about 20 people, and they were all elderly. So we went from, college kids all around all the time to a house with bars where I actually was afraid every night.
Right.
And and elderly people that they didn't really want to hang out. So went from a real vibrant to a quite lonely place for a few years until I sort of navigated it.
Yeah. And I'm sure that was wild as being a mom of little kids, because that's the time in your life when you need extra community and extra support.
Yes.
Yeah. I definitely feel like that's a common theme now. I hear a lot of moms talking about it. It's just like wishing they had more community with people, with their age, and I know that's like a whole struggle.
Community around you is probably one of the most important things. I don't care what size house you have, big, small, if you're in an apartment. I think the thing is, like, with you guys that I really am grateful for is that being pastors, we always did have a lot of people in our lives. All kinds of people, by the way,
Right.
Easy people, great people, difficult people. And I just felt that was just so healthy for you guys.
So then how did you handle, because I thought you always doing a good job, or at least when I was younger in elementary school, like I always think of you being around. How did you handle that work mom balance? Because I know a lot of moms really struggle with that and wanting to still pursue their passions and careers, but also wanting to be present and be around for their kids. Was that hard for you, or did you have to be super intentional about it?
Well, first of all, being a mom and feeling guilty,
Right.
they go together.
Sure.
They just do. I always say there's nothing I had more self-doubt about
Mm.
than being a mom.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, when you guys were in grade school, first of all, it was down the street,
Right.
and my schedule was really flexible.
Yeah.
So I could always walk to school with you every day. And then I could be home, like walk you home. I could do my work. I mean, for a while I worked part time.
Yeah.
So, yes, I always felt guilty.
Gotcha.
Always. But what I did, should I have done it that way? Should I have said it that way? Am I too strict? Am I too easy? All of that.
Yeah.
And yes, so the work, oh, should I not work?
Mm-hmm.
But I really think because it was flexible and because it was just our church was close.
Right.
Everything was close.
Yeah.
So that did really help, I think.
For sure. Well, and I appreciate too, because for those who don't know, I am a pastor's kid because you guys are pastors. I don't feel like you guys made us like have to live this. We're at church every day, and like this is. I mean, it was definitely a part of our family culture, and like, but I enjoyed going to church, because all my friends were there, and like that was a lot of. But it wasn't this like stifling. Oh my gosh, I have to go to church again. Like, and I'm sure I had attitudes at times, But I did really appreciate that because I know a lot of other pastors' kids who end up going wild and like absolutely hating, church or hating Christianity because their parents really tried to shove it down and force it down their throats. And I mean, I remember in high school when I told you guys I was an atheist, because I was like, yeah, I felt like I just wanted to rebel just because, but I wasn't necessarily, I don't even think I believed I was one. I just wanted to like feel like I had the opportunity to be something different, do something on my own. And I'm sure you guys were concerned or whatever, praying or whatever, but I felt like you were like, okay, like this is okay, but like on Sunday we go to church, and so, but I didn't feel like it was always like you have to believe this, because also the ways in which you guys lived was very congruent in what you taught too. So it's not like you were one way at church and then at home you were, the opposite. So I know for some people, or for some kids, that can be a really hard thing to like, religion is a big part of the family, but nobody really in the family reflects the values that they say, you should follow and stuff. So I've always appreciated that because, I never felt, because then I wanted to be a Christian on my own. Like that was that I built up on my own and became my own value rather than like, I have to do this because my parents, are making me. Now, yes, did Dad want to, read the Bible every morning together? And I would be like, no, absolutely not. And like try different things. Yes, for sure. But, it wasn't to a way to where it still turned me off from like wanting to, pursue God and pursue faith. So I do appreciate that. But so I feel like you did a good job at balancing like life and, we were so active with our friends and, so our life it felt well-rounded in a way to which I knew you worked, but I also knew you were home a lot too. And when you were home, sometimes you would be working, but then you'd still be present and, so I feel like you were able to navigate that season well, but.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so glad. No, actually, I think that time you were talking about being an atheist and stuff. That didn't bother me at all. It didn't stress me out. when you did the Wow Jam, I was more I was more upset about that because it was like because you left water polo, you like quit, you're like, no, I'm not doing it, and I just felt like, oh, if you're not involved at school because
Right.
you didn't love school,
Right. Hated it.
and and you go do this Wow Jam, you are not. So that was like more of a concern than you talking about being an atheist.
Yeah, that makes sense. That, yeah. But I mean, you guys still let me do that, which I appreciate. I don't always know, yeah, if that was the best choice for me to make, but I
Mm-hmm.
also,
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate, and it's interesting now thinking back of like the times I got injured and all that stuff. Like I hated water polo because of all the pressure I felt. Like I knew I
Yeah.
was good, but I was really scared that I was good. Like I hated every time my coach would be like, "Okay, starters for this game, Whitney." I was like, "Ugh." And I knew I was going to start because I was good, but it was so much pressure.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
now looking back, I think, you know, Wow Jam was like an inner city ministry that I really loved and got to do with friends. And honestly, it was just like, it was fun. There were some cute boys. And I also like really agreed with like the mission of what was going on. So I was like, this feels easier and like nicer. So I really think that is why I quit water polo like that 1 year, because it was just like it's too much pressure. I'm scared of
Mm-hmm.
all that's going on. And then when I went back to try and play, that's when I got injured again. So a lot of that really does make sense now, looking back.
Well, and I feel bad that I didn't know we didn't understand the pressure that you felt about it.
I didn't either at the time.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I did, but it was more overwhelmed. Like when I feel pressure, I just get very overwhelmed. So I knew I was overwhelmed. I knew like I didn't necessarily feel like I fit in with the girls, and like I was like, then this must not be. This must not be right for me because it just feels so hard and really just scary. So, and I think that now that I think about it, back then it was that fear of success too. Of like, if I do get really good at this, then like I have to keep it up. Even though I was like, I would love to do this. So thinking back to when you became a mom, so they actually just put out some studies, which I find really interesting, showing um, that women actually do become like completely different people when giving birth. Like
Mm-hmm.
cellularly, like there's actually like such an incredible change that they almost say like you become like a completely different person, which is really interesting because I think moms for years have been like, I just feel so different. It's like it's because you are. Like you're actually internally, there's like been so much that has gone on. But for you, like how did you feel like becoming a mom changed you?
Well, I wrote some really good things down, and I don't have them with me right now. I just think that, first of all, giving birth
Mm-hmm.
to these amazing little babies, like, it's like, if you, like any accomplishment I've
Mm-hmm.
ever made, there's like nothing that compares to that.
Yeah.
Like, I know I didn't do it. I'm just saying they came from me. You guys came
You
from these
did. Your body.
amazing, amazing creations. So first of all, a sense of,
Mm.
uh, I think this deep completeness, this deep accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, like another human being. Like, people have projects and like give birth to these movements and organizations, but to give birth to a life, a human being,
Mm-hmm.
it's just absolutely, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a deep sense of completeness, and then now I get to give myself to this human.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then you mentioned like you didn't want to be selfish. Did you feel like that made you less of a selfish?
Yeah, I mean, I did. It was just more, just a different focus, not just about me and Dad and where are we going to go and what all that. It's like now this life that we how form and shape and guide and my own mom didn't really have much to give, but I always say I learned about mothering a little bit from my grandma, and and it's not like she even, I mean, yes, she did meals. She loved to do meals. She was a homemaker. I never really cared about being a homemaker. I was not.
Right.
It's just not something that I wanted to do. I mean, my mom always said, what a waste of time that was. You have a brain. You should use your brain. Why would you waste it in the kitchen? Yeah. My grandma was much different than that. But more than all of that, she gave me such a sense of like peace and comfort and just like this foundation. And I just was excited that I got to be and give that to you too.
Yeah, for sure. What was the hardest part about being a mom? And then what's one of the best parts?
I think the hardest part was just the whole. Well, I always say
you're still a mom.
yeah. Is well, but it's not. It's so different now.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things about it is you always have to be changing. You always have to be, because as you guys grow, you as a mom have to grow. But I always say, how easy Ben was. I think the hardest thing has been just wanting to know you and then adding something to you that you needed and figuring that out was really hard. I mean, you kind of struggled from junior high to college. And I have that little book that you gave me and so I was just always like, I don't know, how do I reach Whitney to be more than we're, just sort of keep her safe or keep her out of trouble, but add
Mom, can
to
you
her life.
You're totally out of the shot.
Oh, right here.
You're better now. It's been half your face for a while, and then you walk in. Just stay. No, come back.
Okay.
Right. Perfect.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. In order to really be able to guide you and love you, I needed to know you, and you particularly. No, we've talked about this. You just stayed so closed. So I think that was the hardest.
Right.
I remember going to one of your water polo dinners and just riding in the car, not talking. And I was trying to think of what can I say that would get her to talk. And I couldn't think of anything. And then we were at the dinner, and then you were all talkative with people, and then I heard things about you just from others, and I'm like, how do I know this? How do I learn this? How do I have this relationship with her?
For sure. Yeah, I was definitely a brat too, for sure. And such a people pleaser that I knew how to turn it on when I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
And I didn't really call it a brat. I didn't think of you as a brat.
Yeah.
I just thought that there was like a key that would unlock the door
Yeah.
that I just didn't have.
Right. For sure. Well, yeah, I think I was a brat in general. No, I was just so, I don't even know what I was. I hated that time in life in general. So high school was like my least favorite time of life and most confusing and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went through some very intense depression in high school. So I wouldn't, I don't know how anyone should have handled it.
Mm-hmm.
What's some of the best things about getting to be a mom?
Oh my goodness. Just like sharing like that doing stuff together, I think. Uh, I had a list like the Rose Bowl parade, going to the Rose Bowl parade, or going
Every year,
shopping.
for everyone listening, every year my mom goes like a psychopath and takes on the parade route in Pasadena for the Rose Bowl for New Year's.
Yes, yes.
And I think you're crazy because it gets down to like what, 40 degrees sometimes? Like it's,
Oh, 1 year, 30.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's why it's crazy to me.
yeah,
But it is fun. It is fun.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, doing those things together, just um, sharing times, but experiences, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I am a doer. So actually, I mean, not just fun things. I mean, planning things together, putting on parties, or um, we have Dad's 70th coming up, so that'll be another
Yeah.
something to put on. But just like being together, honestly, is at this point in life is such a joy because we're someone we don't have to perform for. We can just be.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Yeah.
Doing music together. I mean, that is
Right.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you're a grandma.
Yes.
So fun. And it's fun getting
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
to,
And but you know what? There's like pressure with that because I know that honestly, my grandma was uh, uh, really, truly saved my life.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
So there's kind of that pressure, like I got to really be something for my grandkids. Yeah, they don't need me like I needed my grandma. So I have to keep telling myself that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They don't need to be saved from at least
Right. Right. Yeah.
when they're teenagers though.
Yeah.
They'll have
Yeah.
to soon.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, this wasn't that painful, was it?
No,
See, look at you.
it wasn't that painful.
Yeah.
I don't know how it ended up. I can't.
For those on YouTube, they'll get a little dizzy sometimes. For those listening, it's great. If you were to have any words of wisdom, if you were meeting with moms who were just like, I just don't feel. Oh, you're moving again.
I was thinking I might want to sit for this last part.
It's a quick one. This is
Okay.
video, not just audio. Yes, it's a traveling podcast. For any moms, just wisdom or like any wisdom you wish had been imparted on you when you were starting.
Well, I think the whole thing of self-doubt and guilt,
Yeah.
um, I think it just comes with the territory. I really do. Maybe other moms aren't quite as unsure as I was, but it's like you don't know if
Yeah.
that was the right thing until years later.
Yeah.
Like, was I too firm? Was I too lenient?
Right.
Did I, all of those things you don't know for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you have to really obviously pray daily throughout the day. And as you make decisions, just Lord, help me make the right decision and then leave it there.
Right.
And as best you can, not just continually questioning and second guessing yourself. And the other thing I would say is it's not a bad thing to not have a lot of money. It really isn't. We didn't have a lot. You guys didn't have a lot of opportunities like others. You didn't have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't ever think that is an issue. I think people who have less
Yeah.
and kind of have to make do, I think that's super healthy. Super healthy.
Yeah.
Like don't get to go on these amazing trips or just drive this or wear this or go to this. I think it's the truly like simple and less is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Mama.
Thank you, Whit.
Appreciate you taking time.
I appreciate you asking
Going
me.
on our
Oh, wait.
road trip together.
I have to show you this book.
Oh yeah.
This book you gave me, I don't know how many years ago. And it has all these different things, what I love about my mom. Honestly, as this Mother's Day comes up, I would say to everybody, this is really the best thing you could ever give your mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can go to the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We saw some of our favorite comedians the other day.
That was tops.
Yes.
Definitely tops. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. But this is second. Definitely. Second best.
For sure.